Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Would you pretty please marry me, please? I'm really deeply serious.
Yeah. I'm a little sensitive, baby. No, it's okay. Okay, boy.
Throughout this season, who have we been focused on? Mainly KB and Emma's relationship. Now, as a therapist, I've been watching wondering, is KB a villain? Is she a victim? Where'd all those social work qualities go? And could it have been that maybe the world saw one version of herself? As we often do, we start these conversations about people we really don't even know, based off bits and pieces. But I want to dig a little bit deeper. Okay. Did she bring it upon herself, or is it that Netflix once again needs to have some kind of arc narrative for a woman? Now I want to get into it, so I want you guys to hit that like, subscribe, do all the do's to support this channel. Now, oftentimes we watch reality shows and we see bits and pieces of ourselves, selves that we don't really want to talk about, okay? But we can relate a lot to these relationships. Some of us are in relationships like this. And when it comes to KB and Edma's relationship, it was the talk of the internet. KB is mean. She's a villain. Edmund, how did he get on this show? Why is he here? Did Netflix use him? And of course, all the labeling. Is he on the spectrum? He's weird. He's not normal. All these conversations. And what did we get at the end? More conversations, more questions that we'll probably never really know. Today, we're unpacking the psychology behind KB's behavior, how narratives are shifting reality TV, and why labeling someone too quickly can be harmful. Now, once again, let me have a brief disclaimer. The behaviors I'm going to talk about are based off of edited scenes. Sliced together, we really don't get the real truth. We want to get entertainment, right? Because they want ratings at the cost of people's lives. Just as much as people feel like Edmund shouldn't have been on this show, I don't know if KB should have either. We watch season after season of women come on this show, women of color, get left behind, be furniture, support system. But this time, we had a couple. And I think because of some key moments in their relationship, her asking, can you kill this fly? What would you do if we were in the club and someone approached me? Was it that she was trying to emasculate him? Was it that she was trying to figure out, can I feel safe with you? Can you be my safe space? Can you protect me? Because at the end of the day, what we all need is to be able to feel safe, vulnerable, and protected in our relationships. But I don't think that there was a foundation of safety here. Looking at the beginning, I think being in those pods had you think one thing. Oh, this is my person. No face-to-face. We're in this bubble. We walk over from the hotel into these pods. That low-key, somebody told me that they're actually, the pods are in Santa Clarita. And all the cast flies out to Santa Clarita, California to be in these pods. I'm still mystified by that, okay? But you see them talking in the pods, and you fall in love with the personality, okay? I don't think you fall in love with the actual person. I think it's the personality. And then once you see them, and you're whisked away to Mexico, that is when you start to match the personality with the person. And oftentimes, those things do not match. And I think in this situation, quickly, those things did not match. But I think over and over again, she tried to stay for the potential. Okay. But I think that as we were watching, social media started to portray her as a villain, started to label her as manipulative. But then there are people who feel like Edmund was also manipulated when they had that scene when he was crying about having physical intimacy. I'm too nice. I'm just too nice. And that's where the floodgates started. The discourse, the dissertations, the essays, the articles of this man manipulating her to be intimate, not letting her have a safe space, trying to force it on her. Do y'all think in that moment the relationship was already over? Could you have come back from that? Oh, but they kept walking forward in their relationship. Okay. And it was at that point that I saw more and more people labeling her as, a victim at that point. Him as a narcissist, a manipulator. Why is she still with him? The labels began. Because I feel like people are only comfortable when they can label somebody, put them in a box. Without any labels, I'm uncomfortable. What do I do with myself? How do I continue to watch this show if I can't label them and figure out, what's wrong with them? Why wasn't he on level on the spectrum? Okay. Where are her social work qualities? All this discourse. But we forget that these are regular people who at the end of the day are trying to have a relationship in front of cameras. Though they did, go on the show to, I guess, get married and have us watch it all unfold. The train wreck that it really was. I think we have to talk about the villain edit and emotional projection. I think producers and productions have a story arc. They have the pictures laid out on the table, maybe on a whiteboard, and they come together to figure out who's going to be our villain. Because we got to get the people talking. We got to get ratings. We got to get these episodes out there so we can get another season. And oftentimes in, these reality shows, I see sometimes the Black woman being labeled as a villain. And why do you guys feel like we need a villain every reality show? Does that make it more entertaining? Is it needed? Would people watch a show if there was no villain arc? I think sometimes we dislike certain castings and people on this show because they remind us of people in our lives. And I wonder if KB reminded people of themselves, people they grew up with, family members, relationships with people they've been in, whether that's on the Edmund side or whether that is on the KB side. We have these conversations and sometimes we don't think about how we're projecting our own stuff onto other people. And I think there has been a lot of projection here onto KB and onto Edmund. Their relationship would have never worked because of all the discourse online. Even though she had chosen to, at that altar, say yes, Danielle would have been like, I can't believe she said yes. Can you believe it? She stayed with him after all that. What's wrong with her? Okay? It was a lose-lose situation. But I think we have to think about why we project our stuff onto other people. Does it make me feel better? Do I recognize I'm projecting my opinions, thoughts, and possibly gender dynamics? Him needing to be more masculine, her needing to be soft. People saying that she's in her masculine energy. But was there space for her to be soft? Some of y'all might feel like there was too much space for Edmund to be soft. No? And I just think that, women are often going to be labeled as dramatic, men labeled as toxic. But in some ways, do y'all feel like the gender dynamics kind of switched here? She, over these episodes became labeled as more toxic and he became labeled as dramatic. And oftentimes in relationships, I see that. People often think that the woman is the one who can be toxic and sometimes the man is dramatic. We don't focus on that, especially in couples therapy. Sometimes I see couples who are at a crossroads because the thing in the way is their trauma. And Emma had a lot of trauma. And some of you guys are wondering, well, how come KB didn't use her social worker skills? What were those skills? Those went out the door and she entered her villain era. Okay. Yes, we're in the mental health field. I'm a therapist. KB's a social worker. But those things don't define me. Okay. I'm not perfect. I say the wrong things. I make mistakes. I will say in my own relationship, sometimes I get caught up in my own chaotic mind and things come out that I'm like, oh, girl, where were your skills? Okay. But you guys put people in the mental health field on a pedestal and forget that we're human. You put us in a box that we can only be a certain way. If you give out, advice like y'all think, hold space for people all day, see clients and help them through their own stuff, why can't you guys pour that into your relationships? Is the conversation. Because we're human. And some of us are on our healing journey. Some of us are trying to figure it out just like you guys are. But in this situation, KB was trying to figure it out on TV, in a relationship, with cameras. And once again, these are edit scenes and behaviors to create entertainment. I think we have to figure out how to hold people accountable without dehumanizing them, without villainizing them. Is there a way of watching these reality TV shows without villainizing someone, without dehumanizing them? Okay. Can we have empathy and compassion without blame? Do those two things exist? Or are we so caught up in just labeling and pointing the finger? You're the bad one. You're the good. There's no gray. You're the good in my mind or you're bad. And how that creates toxicity in the entertainment space and watching these shows. And people forget when the show is over and the cameras go off, I still have to live a life. And I have to deal with some of the mental health and things that I read in the comments, people are saying about me. But as we move on to the next show, a lot of these people are just still sitting with the feelings of this show. Now, when it comes to KB, I think that she has some faults. Do I think she's a villain? No. I think that she should have left when she called him a bitch on that hill. Okay? She should have let that thing go. But we get caught up so much in falling for the potential. But once you call someone out of their name, to me, the relationship is done. I don't think there's really any going back from that. And for the audience, it was at that point that people labeled her a villain. Straight up. Nail in the coffin. There was no way of coming back. We should never get to a point where we have to call our partners out of their names. We have to learn how to emotionally regulate. And I think that in a lot of ways, her actions got her labeled a villain. But once again, she's a TV character that we don't know, that people develop parasocial relationships with. And we have to learn how to humanize people and not have our commentary, our group chats, our conversations offline to dictate someone's personality and who they are without even knowing them. I want viewers to reflect on why they label people, why they get comfortable with putting people in a box. And what does that say for me as a person, that I'm only comfortable with labeling somebody and putting them in a box? Why are we so quick to choose sides? Does it really help us in being entertained? Does it help us continue to watch the show and labeling somebody? I feel like reality TV, after watching it for so many years, reflects human emotions that are exaggerated for entertainment and money. Once again, capitalism is at play. When really, in some ways, she's a victim. She's a victim of the pressure. She's a victim of Netflix. She's a victim of letting her emotions get the best of her. We've all been in those places, but we forget when we're watching this show. Now, I want to know from you guys, do you think she was misunderstood? Do you think their relationship was just too hard? Is there room for empathy and compassion? Or at the end of the day, will people just lead with their personal beliefs, projections, their own traumas that they're bringing to the TV screen? Okay. Now, what are your thoughts on their relationship? Could it have worked? Was it doomed from the beginning? Are you somebody watching this still wondering how Edmund got on this show? Okay. Now, I'm a mental health provider, but I'm also a human being. And I want people to remember that we are human. Okay? We're human beings. Now, hit that like, subscribe to this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you once again. If you got to the end of this video, put some purple stars in the chat. What are we watching next? Bye.